Um, so based on our chapter chat, I think pretty much everyone has been greatly enjoying the chapters thus far. So, yes, I saw your picture that you put about that in the chapter chat, Meg. I was like, "Oh, that's uncanny." I mean, I've never watched where the person came from, but I was like, "Gosh, your book comes tomorrow." Oh, good, because there are some really good pictures in here, which I will share with you guys, so you don't have to worry about it. You'll read them after the live session. Okay, looking into mirrors in this economy. I only did it because it's been provided for us in this economy. It just happens to be in the bathroom, so kind of happened to see yourself there. So in chapter 74, um also, I felt like I should have given a quick recap of chapter 73, but no. All we know from the ending of chapter 73, Gufujo was like, you still like girls, right? And Lin Chinggyu was like, maybe you're wrong. Lord of the Rings. Okay. So then we come to chapter 74. And I just thought this chapter was funny because we have Gufujo just like waiting patiently for Lin Chinggyu to cut his sleeves. Like it was just really weird. When we on the opening page and he's like, "There's no rush. We could take it slow." He's like, "He's straight." And straight guys need time to cut their sleeves. I was like, what? I love how we're just like, oh, he's straight. Like, no, he's not. Lin Chingyu has probably just grown up thinking, like, I'm a man, which means I like women. But he's been so focused on his studies in medicine that that's not really something he thought about. Like, y'all feeling me? He didn't really think about it. And so when the question was asked the first time, all the way in volume one, it was like, yeah, I like girls. That's the standard thing a boy would do, right? A boy would like girls. So I do, but medicine. And so it's just like, no, he's not straight. He just needs a little bit of time to come into his gayness. That's all that was. Right. Anybody else agree? It's very iconic. Oh, oh, and a dramatic character death scene. Well, I can assure you, when we actually get to this point, because we know we're gonna get to it, so that's not a spoiler. But oof. Anyway, he seems Demi. Yeah, I think that would probably be a thing too. Like he definitely does like this particular person. So either or, I love how they're both waiting for each other to cut their own sleeves. Yeah. But yeah, I do think he just likes this very specific person and that's it. So, just in case anyone does not know, cut sleeve is the euphemism for being gay. Okay. I said it. There we go. So then, someone give him scissors. Hold on. Freshly bought scissors. Here, lynching you. Take the scissors. Take the scissors. So then we move forward in that night. And all I can say, I'm very, very glad that even though Gufujo was very horny, that he didn't do anything. And he was like, oh, it's too cold. Because the next morning, we find out that Lin Chingyu was not even fully asleep. He was just lying there. And so imagine Joe just started like yanking it up while Lin Chingyu was very much awake. That would have been a very, very awkward situation for Lin Chingyu. Like, do I continue to pretend to be asleep? Or do I like turn and be like, hey, I'm still awake? Or do like, man, like, how would you just do that? I don't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. So I'm glad that Gufu Joe like controlled his urges and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to sleep because that would have been very embarrassing for him, number one. Very difficult to talk about, number two. But also very hilarious, number three, if we got to read that. Nevertheless, you think they're both Demi? Probably. I mean, we don't really hear about um Jiang Dazhuang liking anybody until he read um this book, well not this book, but the Revenge of Huai or whatever. Um he didn't like anyone like until this. So, yeah, I would say so too. Mm, both bothered and sleeping. Oh, you got headphones? Yay. Hey, friend. Hey. Yay to headphones though. So then moving on, let's see. Oh, but the morning after was still funny though because Ling Chingyu had to get up and so it was straddle time. Not gonna lie, I very much enjoyed reading that. And then Gufu Joe was like, "Where you think you going? Hmm? You gonna stay right here?" I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cute." I'm like ready for something to happen, but I know it's not gonna happen just yet. So, I just really liked that whole scene because then we also got to see them be really lazy together, which is something we know that Ling Qingyu doesn't really do, and so that's how we know that he really, really likes Skufujo. I mean, there are other reasons, but we know that he likes Skufujo because he wouldn't be willing to be lazy for anybody. Nobody. But here it is. Skufujo is like, "Oh, come on, stay in the bed with me. Like, it's New Year's. Come on." And he's like, "Okay." And then they end up having great fun with each other. He's he's not the other General Goo. You got to keep telling yourself this. He's not the other General Goo. He's not Gumong. He's Gufu Joe, not Gumong, not Gumong. Gumong? No. I love lazy mornings too. We love our lazy couple. I think they're Demi too. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that. So I love lazy mornings. In all honesty, every morning I have is a lazy morning, even if it's only for a short period of time. But I usually wake up and I just lay in bed and I just chill until I'm like, okay, time to get up and actually um, get ready for work. But yeah, every morning for me is a lazy morning. I just feel like I should be able to wake up and enjoy my personal space before I get to work or get to action. I know that everyone can't necessarily do that, but I think it's important that we all try to take that time to do it, even if it is like a short amount of time. What is in here? Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I love the lazy mornings. You were at con, so no listening. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I hope you had fun. It's so cute that they had the tension, but also cute old married couple too. They really are like an old married couple. We got an accurate representation of a lazy person. I do think it's very accurate. I feel represented. Power to the salted fish. So then we move on to still in this same morning, right? Gufujo is a menace because we have Huan Tong. He was like, "Oh, it was so cold. I felt like I was in an ice cellar." And he's like, "Oh, I forgot. You don't have a wife to keep you warm at night. You don't have a wife to hold." And I was just like, hold on. Let me remove my glasses. I was like, Joe is so mean, but so funny. I just love him so much. So what I can say, because for the longest time, you guys know that I was completely in love with Lu Wancheng specifically, even though Jiang Dazhuang it was in Lu Wancheng and now is in Gufujo, I still had like that pool for Lu Wancheng. After reading Volume 3, I officially just love Jiang Dazhuang and I understand. Okay, my brain understood it then, but I understand that it's him that I really really like. Although I do still really love Luan Chong. So anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there. But bro was so funny, and I was just like, why are you making fun of him for not having a boo? Come on, what are we doing? And then, um, yes, he really does enjoy showing off his wife for real. And so I actually got a little bit of information for you guys about Xiao Jie, the prince, not the crown prince, but we know that he is now Prince of Ning, right? And Gufu Zhou had said that's a great name, that's a great title because most of them rise in rebellion. And of course, Lin Qingyu was like, no, we're gonna have him commit treason. But anyway, just so you guys know, so the Prince of Ning, if you have the book, yeah, I'm trying not to flip that, and you go to the character guide, hold on. If you go to the character guide where you see Xiao Jie, you'll notice that they very disrespectfully did not put Prince of Ning. So this was actually one of the things I was talking about in one of my groups, how they did not provide us with a thorough character guide like we've seen in other series, like you, when it would have like a longer descriptions for the characters, especially if they had more than one title. And so I was like, where's the Prince of Persia? Why do I only see Xiao Jie? So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I don't know why I went back. This is Ning Wang, okay? That is Prince of Ning. That's what it looks like. And then what I learned is that this title came from the Ming dynasty when one emperor stationed one of his sons at the border of Mongolia, which was at the time known as Daning. And in earlier dynasties, princes of Ning usually held a lot of military power. Along the way, that title kind of lost its meaning, though. But there you go. So now there's some kind of reference for what Gufujo had mentioned, of course, like, oh yeah, rising in rebellion, because a lot of Nings had military power to do something like that. So I thought that was a cool piece of information. Um, could not come across that when I was just looking up um like salted fish, Prince Xiaojie, Prince of Ning name. Like it just wasn't coming up anywhere. So I had to ask one of my Chinese friends for help. So it is a snarky remark. Jiang bro. That's what I should start calling him. I've been calling him Jiang Dazhuang, but Jiang bro is just shorter. Yeah. I specified my Gumang reference in Meat Bun chat to avoid spoilers. Oh. Well, it's not a okay. Yeah. I kind of like that they didn't do that. Mm. Puzzle pieces that need to be pieced together. Yeah, which is what you have to do since they didn't give us anything. Um I didn't like that they didn't do that. Only because like so for me, I never get spoiled by the index. Because usually what I do is if I want to know something, I will go specifically like to that character, and I'm usually only just looking at the name like once it's there, and I'm not reading all of the information until like I'm done. But yeah, I kind of wish they had it there, only like not for the entire series, but I wish that by volume 3 that more information could have been put. Like I get it not having it in volumes 1 and 2. He wasn't even Prince of Ning at that time, but to put it here in volume 3, I would have appreciated. But I've already talked before about how I feel like with certain things they were a little lax on providing us what they normally would, especially in volume 1 when there were so many things that, I had to look up myself. or and then tell you guys like, oh, this would have been a great footnote. You remember lots of marquises and stuff are some nings. I like thorough character descriptions. Yeah. I don't know if they no longer do those or if they don't do them for what they deem less popular Danmei. Like maybe that's a thing. But then at the same time, it's like, kind of like, well, how do you give a special edition to this one, but not like an extensive ish character guide? I don't know. Who knows? It's fine though. I gave you the information. I try to give you the information whenever I can if I feel something is of interest. Um, Jiang Bro is perfect. Yeah, I feel like the info can be like built upon in the character guides. I don't know, maybe that's too much work for them. You love how Jiang is like the salted fish, but he's really smart, and if something needs to be done, he's doing it. He might complain, but he'll do it. I do love that about him. Like, and I think that's the thing that people have to remember about a salted fish is it's not necessarily a lazy person. It's more so a person who does not have ambition to do much. That can translate into lazy in certain cases. However, it really like they don't have to rule the country or they don't have to be some big CEO or anything like. They just want to live a comfortable, carefree life, and that's it. So yeah, him being able to like get up and do those things, yeah. I also appreciate that he's very, very smart, which we will see more as we continue reading. Um, Also for footnotes, they don't provide much information. Yeah. I had to provide footnotes, my like what do I call them? Mari notes. Or like that thing that happened with the rooster and the bowing. I didn't know about that until someone told me. That would have been that would have been nice to know. Um, I wonder if it's intentional skip for plot, a mistake, or they think people absorb Dame related info by this point. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's the last option you mentioned as far as absorbed cuz I think they're being lazy. I think they're just giving more attention to certain Danmei and less attention to others. They just give a poem's name, for example, but never explain why it's used in context. Only smart people can afford to be lazy. True. True. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You think the translation should be unmotivated. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that's why I said not ambitious, unmotivated. Yeah. It's I think when I was listening to someone explain it, someone from China explain it, they were saying it was kind of hard to put it into English words. So I think the only thing we can do is be like unmotivated, unambitious. That's all we can say. And translating it into our language. Probably a combination. Helping me save money. His ambition is to let his wife do evil like he desires. Yes. So, when we move forward to, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I'm not. When we move forward to chapter 75, the emperor is getting worse and worse. Don't we love that? A non hustler. That's what a salted fish is, a non hustler. Perfect. Also, no chapter titles for some Danmei either. I have been hearing about that a lot lately, and people are upset because the chapter titles be fun. Um, I don't have an opinion on that actually. Like, I'm fine if it doesn't have a chapter title, but if it has a chapter title and I find it intriguing, I also find that nice. But yeah, if the stories came with chapter titles, why aren't you giving those chapter titles? Like, so I don't know. But yeah, some of them don't, but a lot of them do, and then they just like, nah, we don't want to provide them. Um, so then, like, I think I heard about Modu. had chapter titles. I don't remember. But anyway, so the emperor is getting more sick. Yay. But he's also having to work to the bone. It does not have chapter titles. Um and I love this for the emperor. We want him to get sick. We want sicker. We want him to work to the bone because you can't heal properly when you're sick if you have to work to the bone. And we want him to get worse, right? Right. So we have a moment where Lin Qingyu is meeting Eunuch Xi, and Eunuch Xi is already thinking that the partnership between him and Qingyu won't last. And so my note was like, yeah, sounds like he's gonna do some stupid stuff in the future. Does it sound like that to anyone else? Because it sounds like that to me. And when we go to page 22, um, we have Chingyu saying, like, he's like, Chingyu, what do you want out of this? And of course, we have a moment where Chingyu is like, I've been thinking about everyone else and how to make things work out. And I know what I want Gufu Joe to have because it's what Gufu Joe wants. I haven't really thought about myself. And so then he was like, I just want to be able to study medicine without distraction. And I want to always be by my general's side. First off, that was so cute and sweet. Second of all, I love the vulnerability and the honesty that he's even sharing with Shirong. Like, this is all I want. That simple. And I think it's crazy because, well, I mean, I get it, but Shirong doesn't believe him, right? But to me, it's like, here, he's telling you exactly what he wants. Don't doubt it. Don't act out of line because a lot of people don't realize that Lin Chingyu was minding his own business from the very beginning. He has been minding his own business, but people have been disrupting that business by forcing him to get married to someone he did not know, did not like, did not want to get married to, by forcing him into circumstances, by saying, Xiao Cheng, that they were going to force him into a circumstance that he didn't want to be in. And so that is why he's been doing this plotting and scheming to preserve his own life. But he's saying to you, Xizhong, if you can just put me in a position where I can study medicine without distractions and I live peaceably so that I can be by my general's side, we're good to go. Okay. So I was just like, don't do anything stupid, Shirong. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. No, no, stupid. No, stupid, stupid. No. Okay. But we shall see. You said, oh, y'all talking about chapter titles. He is ambitious. Yeah, Shirong is ambitious. Um, which is something that Ling Qingyu clocked right away. So now we just, need to see it more and more. He was behaving until people volunteered to get poisoned. Exactly. Like, why are you volunteering? You want him to use medicine on you? Okay. You want him to put a goo inside of you? Okay. Fine. So, like I said, they had their meeting and everything. Oh, yeah, okay, I just did that. Then we move forward. You guys. I like when there are just regular human moments in a story. Like it's not always something action packed or something going around, which of course this is more palace slice of life. So we would get more moments like these anyway. But it's not funny. It's funny. I think I said that in my recording. It's not funny. But then Lin Chinggyu laughed and I was like, okay, it is. Hilarious that Huan Tong when he goes back and he's like, where's Huan Tong? And Falu's like, oh, he's sick. No, he got kicked in the ball by a goat. I was like, poor baby. But then, of course, Ling Chingyu's like, here, let me just test it out. Okay, it's got some swelling. You need some medicine. I was like, I don't even think that's necessarily embarrassing to be kicked in the balls. It just sounds painful. Like, my brain can't even think of embarrassment. Um, But then the other thing that I thought was funny was Lin Chingyu going to the barracks to pick up Hubby. and everyone was enamored by his looks. But anyway, he went to him and he's like, Gufujo's like, "What are you doing here?" Um, and then he was like, "Huantung was kicked by a goat, so I thought of you." And and he was like, "Are these two sentences related somehow? Like, I have never been kicked by a goat. What are we doing?" I was like, when I read that, I was like, "No, what is the correlation?" And I did not research, so I don't know. And I think I didn't want to research because it was just funny. So anyway, yes, historical slice of life. I just thought it was funny. He was like, "Yeah, he got kicked in the balls, and I thought of you." Special lethal medicine. Yes, you said that made me laugh so hard. I was just like, what are we saying? I was reminded of your thing. Pretty much. It was like, I was just reminded of your penis. That's all. Quantung let me look at his, but you didn't. He let me inspect his penis, but you didn't. So, um, moving forward, that whole little scene was so cute. I did think that it was also funny that Chingyu called out Gufujo for his very passionate speech that he gave to his soldiers about, suffering and being exhausted, but doing it all for the good of great you and holding strong and everything and triumph. And Chingyu was like, "So basically everything that you can't do." Savage. Actually, my brain was like, emotional damage. I was like, oh my God, Yu, that mouth of yours is so mean. Both of them are so mean in like the most perfect moments. I love it so much. But yeah, he was like, goat, Jiang, my hubby. Right? Actually, just randomly, because that was not an animal that I learned when I was learning about my animals. Um, Let me see how we say goat. Okay, so it's still partially sheep, which is yang. Shan yang. Oh, so mountain sheep. That's how you say goat. Hmm, muy interesante. It's definitely flirting. Yes. So, also, let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything in here. Okay. Um, oh no, I lost my page. There we are. So then we have Qingyu and okay. And Gufujo having this moment, well, really it was Gufujo having his moment of offering Qingyu something to drink and then being like, "Wait, hold on, hold on. Okay, here you go." I was like, he's a child because he wanted an indirect kiss so bad. And Lin Qingyu was trolling him so hard. Again, I love it. So sometimes I do feel like they're flirting with each other, but in that moment, I definitely felt like Qingyu was trolling the hell out of him. Because in the end, he was like, I was just joking. And then, he drank and everything. But I thought that was super, super funny. So that is the end of chapter 75. Um, of course, they also want to figure out how in the world they are going to get Xiao Cheng stripped of his crown prince title. So that is the next thing of importance, which is something that is difficult, right? It's very rare for an emperor to strip their chosen crown prince as crown prince. It's kind of like if you have to renege on that, what does it say about you as an emperor? It's like I made my choice. Once I make my choice, that's final. So it's like, how in the world are we going to get this done? Like he has to do something so egregious right? Excuse me, I burped. He wants to have a nonchalant, natural Danmei indirect kiss moment, and Chingyu was like, Psh, nah. He does read him so well. They both read each other very well, which I think is so important in a relationship because, like, well, it keeps things fun and alive like this, but also in moments where something happens and maybe the other person isn't speaking or they're speaking but speaking around something, they're distraught, whatever the thing may be. If the other person can read you, then they know what they need to do and stuff like that. So I think I think it's very, very good. Yes, exactly, NFS. So then moving to chapter 76, we have yeah, like I said, goal, remove title from Xiao Chang. Easier said than done. So they're like, okay, I've got an idea, goes Gufujo, because Gufujo is salted fish, but he switched it off for just a moment to use his brain. And the snow moment, understanding, Iyo, ya, in different pages. I'm sorry, sometimes I don't like reading the comments out loud, like I just want to read them. So if I just have odd moments of pausing, I'm reading you guys' comments. Sometimes you just want to be mean. um, and so here we are in this chapter, and where was I? Time to spread a rumor. Actually, time to spread two rumors. So Gufujo has this bright idea. He's gonna spread one truth and one lie, which, as I was taught by the woman that pushed me out of her body, in order to sell a lie, you need to sprinkle some truth in there. So, lie number one, which is the rumor, but the only lie, is that the king of North Kingdom has enough troops to establish authority and seize the throne. Wah, 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 wah. And then the truth, Jing Chuan is a man. Jing Chuan is a man. Now, at this point, I mean, it got confirmed within these chapters, but at this point, when I first read it, I was like, no, no, no. Jing not a man. But also, I was with Lin Chingyu, like, okay, he should have found out a while ago, right? Yes? Okay. But as Gufujo says, just because people got married does not mean that they have to consummate the marriage. So sounds like this King of the North is very upstanding guy. He's got my respect. Don't know him, but he's solid. So, um he's like, we can do this. Let's get that stuff spread. We're gonna have Zhang Shitren handle all of that and just watch everything work out. So, every couple is what? Hmm. I'm sorry, that just makes me laugh. So then we have it where, Gufujo is like, even after he found out the truth, by that point, after 2 years, there was already the establishment of the relationship, right? So it was like, well, I love you. That's just that. So you're a man then. Okay. Moving on to the next thing. It's whatever. And on page 36. Ah, yes. So after learning this information, Pingyu is pissed. Because not only does Gufujo know this information, he also knows Shen Huaishi's whereabouts. But Ling Qingyu did not know this information, which doesn't make sense because if Gufujo knows, then that means Ling Qingyu knows because that means Gufujo is going to tell Ling Qingyu. But he's pissed that he doesn't know. And I like when Lin Chingu is like, "Oh, so you just think you're so awesome, don't you? What, you want an award, huh? You want some snaps or some claps?" And then and Gufu Joe is like, "Oh, wait, something's wrong. Hold on, I might be in trouble." And I just think it's funny that every time Lin Chingu is pissed, this guy wants to poison someone. Not the first time where he has wanted to poison his husband. So it's just funny because, yeah, on page 36, it was like Lin Chingyu was so mad that he wanted to poison his husband, but he couldn't bear to, though. So he just gave him the cold shoulder instead. I was like, Chingyu, like, I don't know if I just get. Sometimes, do I want to practice medicine? Like, if I practice medicine, will I have this thought then every time someone pisses me off? I just want to poison him so freaking bad. Oh my gosh, I'm so pissed. I could poison him. Like, that's just not the first thing that comes to my mind. Is it? Like, I don't know. Maybe if I were a doctor or something or I made medicine, who knows? I don't know. So, um, let's see. You said I had an easier time believing Jing Chun is a guy because of how the former crown prince kept throwing himself at men too. Yeah, it wasn't difficult to believe. It was just kind of like, oh, alrighty. Let's see. There's no sleeves left in the palace. Um, that was dumb man moment for so dumb. You were showing too many of your cards in that moment. For real. You were. mm, 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 mm. So yeah, that's a coping mechanism. Sure. Let's go with that then. So crap, where was I? He pisses him off, he wants to poison him. Oh yeah, that's what I said. So then also a little bit later, because why not, right? Um Gufujo is just like telling him all that he remembered about the plot from Huai's Revenge on the Monarch. And he also decides to give him explicit detail on the first time between Xiao Cheng and Shen Huaishu. First off, Lin Qingyu wants to know why he remembers these details so vividly. Second off, Mari too. And then he has the excuse of Goofy Joe. Right. He has the excuse of the author having gone into explicit detail about it, which I suppose is a rational excuse. However, sir, he will be good friends with Mamo. Probably so. So then he decides that he wants to guess your AI subtitles. Speaking of, I'm getting off topic because I was listening to the last 5 chapters last night to write my notes because I wanted to do it Thursday and Friday so the chapters were fresh in my mind because I finished the book already and uploaded for the schedule. And I just happened to notice the subtitles and they were so close with Ling Qingyu this time, but they put a G, Ling Qingyu. I was like, so close. You were so close. And then, of course, we got Shun Fuai Sure, but so they were so close. Oh, well. Anyway, I got off topic. Oh, yes. So he was just like going through this whole thing with them about, using a jade dildo. I would like to see this. And anyway, I was like, oh, okay, sure. For the first time? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Both at the same time? For the first time? I was like, I don't know. Was this good or bad? Like, was this a good or a bad experience for Shun Huai? Sure. That's what I want to know. Anybody else want to know? Like, can I read Wise Revenge on the Monarch? Can this be a real book? Maybe. Okay. So anyway, yeah, just him explaining it, being like, my face was like this, and I was like, whoa, how could it be like that? And Ling Yu was just like, enough, please stop. Before I get upset again and think about poisoning you. Just like Mari said, I'm like, let's make this into a real book, shall we? Thank you. So that was really, really funny. He was just like, please, no more. So anyway, Zhang Shituan, he went to the North Kingdom to get, all of this stuff done. The rumors spread and everything, and they're going to look for Shan Shi, or go get Shan Shi, I should say, because he already knows where he is. So then we move forward, to the Lantern Festival. I want to go to a Lantern Festival. Hi, who are we saying hi to? Wait, I just see highs. Oh, to Oxy. Oh yes, Oxy's been here. Hi, Oxy. Okay, I thought I missed someone. Okay, cool. Both at the same time. I'm like, both. I mean, I thought about it before, but then when I think more about it, I'm like, I don't know. Sounds like a bit of a stretch. Sounds like a bit of a stretch. Um, so maybe not. Those are things I fantasize about, but don't want done in reality. We all have those things that we like think about. It was like, oh man, that's so hot, or that's so cool. But in reality, it's like, no, not gonna do that. I've got a lot of those. I've got a lot of those. So, anyway, same with Proud and Mortal Demon Way. I want to read that trash book. I really do. I'll probably skim some areas. Number one, I want to read Proud and Mortal Demon Way for the monsters, because clearly there are so many of them and they're so cool. And even Shun Yuan memorized, well, remembers a lot of them. So I want to read about them too. But I would love to hear about Luo Binghe's mini quests, and just how exactly we got the human stick. I like gore, so I would like to read that. Yeah. Anyway, Oxy has been summoned. I was looking at some of my shorts the other day, and we still have the video on how to summon you in FS of me drawing all the things that you said. Ah, at the same damn time. I don't think I've heard that song before. A stretch. Did I say that? I did say that. It all depends on who's getting what. I'm gonna move forward. So we're to the Lantern Festival. Oh, we're about to be there. And we have a moment where, Gufujo is asking how is that celebrated in Ling Chingyu's time. And so he tells him a little bit. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, what about people who are like, because he's telling him people go see their person that they like and everything. And he's like, oh, really? Take a sip. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. My lips were shaking a little bit because because I was trying not to laugh while drinking that. Mhm. We're okay. Yeah, we would read Pidwa for the magical world building, obviously. Obviously. Um, yeah. I read a SVSSS fanfic where there was world building, I think, for like the first 3 chapters. And it was amazing. Not even gonna lie. It was really, really good. But at some point, I was like, can we have human interaction? Why is Shen Yuan all by himself on this mountain that he can't leave? Someone come. And then Leo Chingo came. So, also, that sounds very inappropriate in my head. So, he's explaining, people meet the people that they like and everything. I mean, I can drop the link, but the only thing I will say is that the ending was disappointing. It's ranked as one of the fanfics that I read that was so good and ended up letting me down in the end. Like the last, how many chapters were so freaking disappointing. It pissed me clean off. So that's, if you really want the link, I can give it to you. It's I think like 4,600, no, what is it? 461,437 words and 55 chapters of almost pure greatness. And then it goes to poop. I feel like they were doing too much and they were rushing towards the end. Um no, not he transmigrated into himself. This is the one where the system was faulty in transmigrating him into Shun Chu, and he got booted out. Shun Chu registered that something was trying to take over his body. So now he's aware of Shun Yuan, but hasn't found him or anything yet. So he ends up being in his own body outside of a mountain or something, and he goes and lives on this mountain. And there's a whole world building that happens around that. It's very, very good. Like I said, it's just the last chapters. I was like, I'm so upset. And it's Shan Yuan Liu Tinga one. So yeah. Suki's leaving? Where? Oh, okay. We'll see you later. Bye bye. That is a lot of words. Mm-hmm. Yep. I counted as like four novels, basically. So, um, but yeah, so going forward, because I keep getting off of this, yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I thought when you guys didn't have relationships with each other before marriage, yada yada yada." And then he has to explain. Gufujo has to explain to Lin Chingyu what in a relationship means. Now, at first, I ain't even gonna lie. When he was like, large cargo ships sailing on a canal are often fastened to a smaller boat that pulls them forward. I was like, Goofy Joe, what are we doing? What are we doing? But I listened and he gave his explanation. I was like, okay, great. So then in the end, he was like, it's the equivalent to I want to grow old together holding hands. And I was like, you couldn't just say that. Why you have to give a whole paragraph about boats and canals? Um, but it was a thorough explanation. You're welcome, Kuro-san. And so in the end, he's like, so does being in a relationship mean pledging your love to each other? And he's like, yeah, you could say that. And he was like, I see. And I was like, you see? Qingyu. When someone says I see, it's kind of like, I see. It's like, okay, what are you thinking in there? I want to know. So that's all I was asking. Like, tell me what you're thinking. Which I guess we soon find out. We're coming up on a picture as well, by the way, soon, for anyone who doesn't have one. So in chapter 77, we have Hualu wants to go to the Lantern Festival. And since she wants to go, he's like, okay, I mean, Qingyu is like, okay, I'm gonna take you. So then Gufujo comes home and he's thinking, okay, lazy pants time because Qingyu doesn't like crowds. But nope, we're all going. So it's wonderful, it's fun, all of those things. And there's a moment, I'm sorry. I don't think I did I put a note by it? Mm, I think I did. Okay, maybe I didn't. So I'm just gonna read from my note then. There's a moment where Chingu Ching Yu says that Gufu Joe's original body was not his type. Okay. But Gufu Joe was like, yeah, right. So who was it that told me that my original form was more handsome than Lu Wonchong? It was you, right? You told me that I was better. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. You said it's one of my favorite chapters so far. This one, oh, nice. It's a very good chapter, I will say. A very, very, very good chapter. And so we have when they're out there, this little girl runs into Gufujo, spills the flowers or whatever, and he picks them up. And then he ends up buying all of those flowers. Whatever you say, sweetheart. He ends up buying all of these flowers and he gives them to Qingyu. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. And then he tries to be poetic. And I'm upset because I wrote this down in my notes, but for some reason I did not like mark these on the pages so that I can just like go to those scenes. 1 second. We're gonna get there. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, here we are. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to the exact page number. I don't know what was going on in my brain when I was taking notes. Because if I ever write a note down, I try to also put like a little sticky note on that page. Anyway, here we go. He says, nothing in Jiangnan can express my feelings, so I can only give you spring in the form of a flower in bloom. Oh, I was like, ah. And then his silly butt, like, I feel like that was so romantic. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I memorized lots of poetry. Otherwise, I couldn't have a single conversation with you. And I was like, sir, what do you mean? You have plenty of conversation with Qingyu without poetry, which of course Lin Qingyu was like, yeah, you don't need to do that. Talk like you talk. Thank you. It's like he definitely loves you for you. Why are we trying to be extra in this moment? But thank you for the sweetness is really sweet, but you don't have to try to be something else because Lin Qingyu likes you in that case. And then he was like, "Oh, well, in that case, I like you because," and then they get separated because of course they get separated. And so for a time it's just Huan Tong and Lin Qingyu. He does look at the things for a little while and then he gets bored, because Gufu is the entertainment, right? And so he's like, okay, going to look for him, even tells Huan Tong to go to the carriage and everything. And then finally he hears Gufu call to him and he turns and he sees him and then he runs to him. Mm, he runs to him. Qingyu runs to Gufu. It's so sweet. He memorized poetry. Jangbo tried. Oh my gosh. He was trying so hard. And it was so cute. So then we have him here, and then it's crazy because it says, like just like that, he ended up in Gufujo's arms, but then Gufujo's hand hovered over his waist. So it's like he's not going to just do it, like touch him like that without permission. And I just thought that little detail, was very, very nice. And he was just like, why are you running? And he says, I was coming to see you. So of course I ran to you. Okay. Mm. And Doc is gonna remember that horrid film forever because of sweet. Right? Oh my gosh. It's moments like these I'm like, dang, Chingu, you just You shot me with that one, okay? I am shotteth. Pume pume. Like, okay. Ah, you finally made your breakfast. What did you make? I want to know. I haven't had breakfast, which is why I've got all this stuff lined up. Mm. Brunch is the best food um category. No. Time, brunch. Like breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, dessert. I love brunch over all things. So anyway, yeah, I was coming to see you. So eventually they send Hualu to the carriage as well, so they can be all by their wonsham. All by their wonsham. And yeah. They go for a walk along the river, which is very nice. And then we get to this Ooh, is that an eyelash? Oh no. It's a pin mark. How did I get a pin mark right there? Oopsie. So anyway, they're walking along the river, having their conversation. I mean, not having conversation because they're both like in their heads, right? About how they feel, right? And then we get to a point where Gufu Joe finally says something and he says, "The rising moon shines with such radiance." Oh, how lovely this beautiful lady is, sir. So anyway, and then he continues with it, but then he forgets the next line. Like, don't quote poetry if you can't remember the whole poem, or just stop while you're ahead. you know, but still so cute. And he's like, shit, I forgot. And so I just love though all of this, these moments of him trying to quote poetry and forgetting it, being like, crap, I forgot. These are things that Lin Qingyu likes. Because even after that blunder and what he would see, as a fail, we have in this next portion that just completely threw me, where Lin Qingyu says, I have a crush on you too. Want to be in a relationship with me? First off, I was not expecting him to initiate that. Oh, yes, enjoy your meal. You were snorting and also on your feet. What did you make? Wait, you made rye toast, one piece with basil, a feta cream cheese, and one piece with spicy guacamole and a fried egg. I'm not sure why I had two accents in that, but yeah. Speaking of basil and cream cheese and toast, my husband and I went to this pizza place last night and I had their bruschetta and oh, so good. So now I have to make my own bruschetta. I've had bruschetta from like three different places now, and they all have tasted different, but in the most amazing way. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to become a staple for me or something. I need this in my life. I ate the whole bruschetta appetizer by my lonesome. So anyway, very, very random. That sounds delicious though. Meg. So yes, he finds his fumbling endearing. Hey, Vico in the kitchen. Oh, you just got back? Oh, that's so cool. And salty fish. How was your trip? Oh, and what specific part of China were you visiting? Um, you love that part. Love that Qingyu uses modern slang. Like, yes. Oh, yeah. Let me get back into what I was actually saying. But yes, so this moment was everything. The fact that he used the modern lingo was, to me, so it was such a profound moment because I even remember back in volume 2 when it had mentioned, he was listening to Gufu talk about some things from his hometown, and he was like, Gufu or Jiang Dadrong Jiangbro has made a lot of compromises and had to learn lots of new things being in this new world, and so he thought it would be good for him to I think it was for the ring, to actually do something that was from his time. And so to see it happen here again, I was just like, oh my god, that's so cute. But also, if we go back to volume 2, when Gufujo admitted that he had a crush on him, he was like, "You want to crush me at a specific date?" So this, him saying I have a crush on you too. I'm like, lynching you. So you knew what that meant all along. Or at some point he was thinking about it and put the pieces together to be able to use it, because I have a crush on you was not something that was ever explained of what that means from the first time that he was confused about it. So, but also at the end of the previous chapter when he was like, so to be in a relationship is like this, and he was like, I see. Well, now we know what was in his head. Okay. Yeah, you said I love bruschetta. So good. It was so freaking good. It was so good. Yeah. So I'm gonna make it. Like when we go to the grocery store again, I'm getting the stuff. Yeah. Um, it sounds so tempting and you're hungry too. Mm. It was one of my favorite parts as well. Jongbo tried to speak poetry at him, and Doc reciprocated his slang. Yeah. It's very tasty toast. That's great. Mm. You went to Fujian, Sichuan, and Yunnan. I want to go there. Yunnan is where I'm like 1%. I'm 1% Chinese, according to. It's probably less than that. Um, but I have family members from way, way, way long ago that came from there. So that made me very happy. But how, I hope you enjoyed that very, very much, because did you eat lots of spicy food in Sichuan? And some Chinese danmei. Did not buy any. 为什么? But the drawback was not having access to YouTube and AO3 during Pride Month. Oh, I'm sorry. I know it's weird going to somewhere else and then it's like, nope, you don't have those things. Mm, that does suck. I wasn't expecting Chingu. That's what I said. Look, literally, my note um is like, holy shit. Hold on. Wasn't expecting Chingu to initiate. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, cool. That's great. Yunnan is so pretty. Yeah, so I've heard and I've seen like some of the clothing. Um, I really want to go because I think it would be really cool. That 1% so random, right? But I own it. I'm thinking about getting a shirt that says I'm 1% Chinese, which makes me Chinese 100%. Like I said, it's probably less than 1% for me. Because I had taken an ancestry thing and they showed a whole bunch. I would have to no, I think it was that 1% for me. It Yeah, 1%. Anyway, Wanting would have died. No way Wanting would confess first. No initiation from this guy. Ah, wait, I'm hungry now. I'm gonna get something to eat. Yeah, get you some food. I love this bit in the book. It was so good. So, so good. So, we can actually move to the photo for anyone who does not have the book. Move this out the way. Here is the image, and I'm going to see if I can bring you all a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. Da, 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 dum, da, dum, da, dum. Here we go. Isn't that cute? Look at this moon, by the way. I want to say the moon is beautiful tonight. No, it literally is beautiful, and the details of the buildings behind them, and the lake of the river, the lotuses in there. The lantern is so cute. And then let's zoom in for their expressions. Look at Lin Chingyu's face. Look at the adoration in his face. He's like, this guy is clumsy with his words, but this is my guy. This is my guy. Nobody else's. I like this guy. So, yeah, absolutely beautiful. I love it. The art is perfect. And now let me, whoopsie. I gotta make my thingy smaller again. Oh, what are we doing? Meow. Okay, there we go. The bunny lamp is so cute. I really love this bunny lantern so much. I'm like, I want a bunny lantern. I'm very curious to see what my ancestry chart would look like if I took it. Probably a lot of Italian. Yeah. I I had at one point thought about taking one from a different company. I can't remember the name of it, but it was crap, what was it? Shoot, I don't remember. But because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, with ancestry, they I don't know what it was something about them not giving you real or accurate information or something like that. I don't know. But then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to waste my money on taking another one. I'm just going to take it for what it says. We'll just move on. So that was that picture. Beautiful. He's not old. He's like 30. Yeah, he's was it 32 or 34? Mm, one of those. One of those two. 32 or 34, I don't remember. Side note, I love the little Goo Mong sticker on your laptop. He's such a cutie. Yes, all of my sticker. Hold on. Let me just move my laptop more into view. Yeah, here goes I'm guessing Tingyu with headphones, but we just haven't gotten there yet. Um Gumong, Birdie Birdies. I don't know which bird from Luan Chung's life, but yeah. And then of course, Moshi, and then Jiang Bro. I've got more stickers on the back of my laptop. Obviously, I can't show you guys those because if I do, then like the session will close out because I would have to like close my laptop. But yeah, I've got tons and tons and tons of stickers. So, meow. You're just old. Ah! Um, your dad is 100% Italian? Dang. Whoa. I always find it interesting when someone is like 100% something, at least when they're like in America. It's funny to hear like, whoa, 100% something? Like I know it's more common when you go to those places because we're the melting pot over here. We melt all of the cheeses together. So, wow, so cute. It's very incorrect for Europe. Ah, yeah, the um the DNA tests and all that stuff. Yeah, that's why I thought about taking it again, but I just kind of forgot about it because I think I don't really care about these things like so much. A lot of people of color I know care about like buying things specifically from people of color, which I do that when I can. And I mean of color, not like just black, but any other color other than, not Caucasian. And so there was one company specifically who did test for people of color. Um, for me, I'm just like, not with the test, but just products in general. Do I like the product? Does it work for me? Then it doesn't matter who made it as long as it works for me. Um, that's why he never took it. Mm. My dad and aunt are products of two Italian immigrants. Ah. So moving to chapter 78, before we get too carried away. I actually was kind of like saddened just for like a tiny, tiny moment because Kwalu was thinking about young Marquess Lu and how much, you know, it would be nice for him to see everything that was happening for the Lantern Festival. She was like, hopefully he's seeing it up in the heavens. And I was like, I think I would have liked to have met Marquess Lu. We don't get to meet these characters. We didn't get to meet Marquess Lu. We didn't get to meet Gufu Zhou. We've only gotten to meet Jiang Bro inside of both of them. But a part of my brain is curious to like them and their personalities. We hear about their personalities, but we never even got like a true glimpse of them. And so I'm just wondering, like, it would have been, it's not necessary in the books, but it just would have been really cool if we got moments where we could see them in their original characters, because then I feel like it would be, well, we would just have a taste, you know? And I know that there's salted fish fan fiction out there. And so I'm just wondering what it would be like to read like an OG Gufu Zhou story, with Lin Qingyu or an OG Lu Wancheng, you know? But like we have OG Bingke and we got OG Bingke moments. So, I don't know. That would have been cool. But anyway, I digress. I still love Luan Chung. So then we have, after this moment of confession, Gu Fujo is kind of starstruck, basically. He's something. Because he's not all the way together. In fact, it was like, if Lin Qingyu didn't know any better, he would have thought that maybe Gu Fujo didn't like him with the way that he was acting. But I think he was just kind of stuck, like, oh my God. Qingyu just admitted he liked me. I said it back. Whoa. Is, it, is it really happening? Huh? Like, that's how I feel like he probably was and everything. SPSS has covered the fanfic angles just fine. They did, but we also had glimpses of the real Binka like in the story though. So, um but I'm just saying, like, I wonder how the author pictured these original characters and what they were like. Like, I'm sure even without the glimpse of them, like the fanfic, they can just make the character however they want to make them. But it would have been nice to see like a moment buffering. He's buffering. He's just stunned, like his brain is lagging. I mean, I feel it was from Jiang Bro's POV. He knows the OG story and he'll probably know what the relationship between Lu and Qingyu. Yeah. I don't think did he ever tell us? No, he never told us what the relationship between them was like in the original one. But yeah. So um then once he finally gets himself together after he's like, is something wrong with me? Am I okay? And Huan Tong and the carriage driver say what they say. Then he gets into the carriage, right? Um, you can have our shared brain cell back now. Then he's like, did you hear what I said, Xingyu? And he's like, yes, I heard what you said. And he's like, you really heard me, right? Like, you know what I said. And Xingyu is just like, okay, time to whip out my eidetic memory since you are asking me this question if I really heard you. So on page 53, I'm not going to read it all, right? But he just quotes him exactly. Eggs. EGGS. Exactly. Word for word what he said. And it was so good. I loved everything about Gufu Joe's confession. Um it was him. It was perfectly him. And so I also like the part where he was like, I like waiting for you. I like watching you use poison. I like listening to you talk. I want you to be happy forever. It's like, oh, I love that you love watching him make poison. But then also, it was funny right after that. Gufu Joe focused on one thing, and he's like, this confession doesn't make sense. Why would, right after I say I'll protect you from harm, would I say that I won't get mad at you? Like, those things aren't even connected. And it's like, my guy, calm down. He was fine with your confession. He was like, oh, just give me a chance. I will reconfess. And Chingy is just like he's trying so hard not to laugh. And he he was like, yeah, you don't need to reconfess. I thought it was smooth. I thought it was very nice. So like he literally says, no need. You were perfectly fine just now. You were cool. And I liked it. I was like, oh. And then he's like, does this mean you're mine now? And he's like, yes, I'm yours. Mari can't handle this, cannot handle this level of just cuteness that was on these pages. Jiang Da Zhuang is so adorable. Okay, okay, okay. What are we saying in here? I don't think there was a relationship. He died on the wedding night. No. See, I don't remember. Um, at least I don't remember in the book. Like I know that he died on the wedding night, I guess, from Jiang Dazhuang coming. So it would make sense that yeah, that's probably when he actually died. Um, which is kind of cra- crazy. Okay, anyway. Well, he said he didn't tell us, so I'm assuming there was nothing special. Yeah, I'm assuming that I guess based on what NFS said, based on like the timing of everything when the character actually died and Jiang came in, he probably died on the wedding night, I guess. So, um, poor Wancheng, OG Wancheng. The fact that he repeats his confession back word for word, right? Diabolical. He was so embarrassed. He sounds so inexperienced and cute, but it's perfect. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes guys are trying to have everything like all put together and done well, but like what matters is the intent. And even like the little fumbles and everything are so cute. Like I remember watching a video from a lady who was like across the street and she was recording this couple that was walking and it was snow and ice outside and the guy was getting ready to propose but he slipped on the ice and kept slipping and falling all over the place and even like dragged her down with him accidentally because she was trying to help him. She's like, oh, and the lady was just like recording and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Like he was trying to propose and he ended up slipping and falling and his woman was laughing with him, which was, I was like, yeah, that's the right one. And so after like a minute of the slipping and all that stuff and they were both on the ground on the snow and ice, he finally was like, will you marry me? Like you could just see him like take out the ring. And of course she said yes. And I was just like, that is so cute. Oh, that's so adorable. And I know he's probably thinking like that was the craziest fumble of my life. It was so embarrassing. But to me, I thought it was perfection, you know? And I'm sure the woman, she said yes, was like, that's perfection. And even the woman in the car that was doing like the secret recording, she was like, this was the cutest thing ever. I would totally say yes. Like, this cute. So cute. Grinning from ear to ear. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know they didn't know each other beforehand. Um, so and then he died soon after because the prince got his paws on him. It just makes me wonder when the prince actually saw him then at that point. Um, wait, this is so cute. Decades later, their story. We fell for each other hard. Right. Hmm. Have you ever seen videos of guys' stories of guys prepping to propose? I have not. Many times they almost and sometimes even actually puke from nerves. Oh, I have not seen those before. It's so funny though. It's super, super funny. So, anyway, I done got way off track now, but let's see. Uh, Absolutely, Meg. A lot of that pressure. Um, where was I? Oh, yeah, but after all that, they get home and stuff, and they're still sleeping in separate beds. What are we doing? Get in the same bed. Thank you very much. Anyway, and then they didn't even sleep good. Didn't even sleep good. And hold on. Let me go to it exactly because when he was like, "Did you not sleep well last night, Chingu?" He's like, "Mm-mm." He's like, "Why not?" He's like, "Why do you think?" And I'm like, "Why do you think?" Y'all didn't sleep well last night because you didn't sleep together. You didn't have to do anything, but the same bed, same freaking bed. Okay? Bottom or top bunk. Just pick one and sleep on it together. Okay. That's my rant for the day. What are we doing? Yeah, bunk beds no less. Like it's just so yeah, didn't have a good sleep, and Gufujo was happy about it because Chingyu lost sleep thinking about him basically, and then finally being together. Um, so yeah, whatever. Where am I? Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that I wanted to say. Going back really quickly, so when they get back and Gufujo says, "I'll sleep on the top bunk as usual then, Chingyu." And Ling Chingyu's response was, "Sure." To me, that was not the same as if he said yes. He said, "Sure." Which means I think that he probably wanted them to sleep beside each other. And that if Goofy Joe would have been like, "Tingyu, you want to sleep together?" Then he probably would have been like, "Okay." It's like a missed opportunity right there. Okay. Anyway, I just had to say that because apparently it was in my notes. Yes, these cutie dum dums. That's all they are. The reluctance, right? Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can sleep on the top bunk, I guess. I will sleep on the bottom. Right. Okay. So, oh my gosh. So, of course, we know that Gufujo, he wants to take their relationship to the next level in debauchery. Only saying that because, he asks Ling Qingyu, like, okay, what do you guys do after you pledge your love to each other? And so Ling Qingyu is telling him all of these things. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, you can't enjoy your pleasures. I mean, you can enjoy pleasures, but you can't engage in debauchery. Just pretend like I didn't ask. And then eventually, so I'm like, oh, so you want the debauchery? But then he's like, wait, we're married. So like we can bypass all of that, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, my dude. Okay, you want the debauchery. I want it for you too. I want to read the debauchery. Like, let's go. So anyway, when we move to the next scene, but oh, that's the other thing. He gives Chingu, I guess, like a kiss on L forehead, and he's got Chingyu thinking, so oh, where he comes from, people must be reserved as well, and like after pledging love to each other, even if they're married, like just a kiss on the forehead. Okay, yeah, they're reserved and have few desires in his hometown too. And I'm like, nah, bruh. They probably are some what reserved still, yes, but not reserved like this. He probably is just trying to do what he thinks you're comfortable with. I'm positive he just wanted to kiss you right here. But sure, we'll just say people from his hometown are reserved and have few desires. Sure, Chingu. Let's go with that. So then in the next part before the chapter ends, we have that the rumors have been spread now, and the emperor is pissed. And specifically, he's pissed at the empress when he thinks that this is a detail about Jingchuan being a man that she missed. So he's upset with her because she runs all of that stuff and everything. You said, my sweet summer child. They'd be so dumb. So smart, but so dumb. Right. He's nervous and worried about your boundaries. That's the only thing. Because we know he would have kissed him right here. So, yeah, this right the forehead kiss was for you, Qingyu. Although it sounds like you wanted more than a forehead kiss, Qingyu. I can see why writing toxic is easier. Yeah. Cause I feel, yeah, it does. Even if a person is naturally respectful and everything, I do feel like when writing romance and stuff, it does take a lot more thought because you have to think about those kinds of things. But yeah, with the toxic, you don't. You just write whatever the heck you want. So, ooh, that's good now that it's finally settled. Um, so yeah, the rumors have spread. The emperor is pissed. Um, Xiao Li's living conditions are better. Yay to our little soulless prince. Um, and Xiao Jie is doing well in the duties that he's been given. He's helping Xiao Cheng in administrative affairs. Good, good, good. This is all very good. This is all going according to Lin Qingyu and Gu Fuzhou's plans. So I say good. Uh, chapter 79. Let me see. This is why we have mutual respect with open and clear communication. Yes, that open and clear communication, so good. And yes, I am happy that Xiaoli's living conditions are better because them people before were tripping. Like, what are we doing? So, when we move to chapter 79, we have that Shen Huaishu was found very easily, of course, by Gufu Zhou's men. And then, right. Gufu Zhou is basically like, I wonder why he came for you. Like, probably because of your good looks. And Lin Qingyu is like, no, it's got nothing to do with my looks. It's just because, I keep it real with him and I've helped heal his injuries and stuff. And Gu Fuzhou's like, no, he definitely came because you're hot. And he was like, I'm not even his type. And Gu Fuzhou is like, you need to understand something, Qingyu. You're everyone's type. Once they see you, that's just the end. So I need to see Qingyu like in person because for reasons. I just want to see a person that would literally be everybody's type. What does that look like? Exactly. You know? I want to know. So, anyway, moving forward, we have Lin Qingyu is thinking Gu Fuzhou really wants to be a eunuch because when they are talking, he was like, how can we use Shen Huaishu to prove the rumors? And Gu Fuzhou tells him to call me Lao Gong and I'll help you think of something. And at this point, Lin Qingyu is just kind of like not liking Lao Gong because he still doesn't know that it means husband in modern times. It just means eunuch in their times. And he's like, does he still really want to be a eunuch that freaking bad? But he says it and he's just like, Lao Gong. And so Cooper Joe's like, no, you gotta say it with passion. And I'm like, sir, you are missing what's happening here. You're being a little dumb dumb again. You're being a dumb dumb. So That was interesting. Um, so then he's like, he sees that he did something, and so he's like, okay, okay, let me just tell you. But of course, the scene cuts out, so we don't know, like in that moment. Old eunuch, lol. Right? It's like, sir, stop it. Even if it's just permission, ask just for the boundary check. That's fine. Mm-hmm. That's a step forward. He's competing with Shunza Chuan for the title of most tempting show. Yeah, and right now in my book, Shunza Chuan still takes the cake, but Lin Qingyu is, I would say, second. Um, then after that for me, I think it would be Shen Xiao. Just I He's just so beautiful. Then Xielian. It's hard because so many of them look so good. But I think afterward, Gumong, I just love the way Gumong looks. And then Shan Qingqiu. Yeah. So anyway, off topic. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so they meet. Lin Qingyu and Shen Huaisher meet at their typical spot, the temple, and Shen Huaisher is living a decent life. He's not looking as bad anymore. He's just living a life in peace, which is very much what he wants. I do love Tsui Buchu, and I think he's a very handsome gentleman. But like in my ranking, like he's one of my favorite characters. But I was just speaking specifically on looks. So in my top rankings of 1 through however many I named, he doesn't make the cut. Goes for the barely breathing invalid. But also, I'm sorry. I meant to put Lu Wancheng in that ranking as well because I mean because like hold on. Let's just clearly. So um yeah, Lu Wancheng gets put into like what I like to feast my eyes on the most. So you know, I do go for the barely breathing invalids just in general as far as my favorite characters because yes, Lu Wancheng is in there, Sui Buchu is in there, Shen Qiao is in there, which for a long time he was struggling. So I feel it. I feel it. Anyway, where are we? He confirms, Shan Huaisher confirms by one of those like accidental confirmations that Jing Chun is in fact a man because Qing Yu was like, "Oh my gosh, how long have you known?" or something like that, and he was like, "How did you know?" And he's like, "I didn't. You just told me." Kind of basically that kind of thing. So it was confirmed. Mari has a type. Do is Shenzi Chuan also? He was the first one I said. Yeah, he was the first person I said Shunza Chuan, which when turning on my phone screen, there he is, and then Lin Qingyu, um, Shen Xiao, Xielian, Lu Wancheng. I'm sorry, Xielian, uh, Gumong, Lu Wancheng, Shen Qingqiu. Okay, the last ones were probably out of order. Anyway, so I would love him. What's he in? You're deaf. It was just momentary. It was selective hearing. That's all it was. Zhao Yilan, what story is he in? So anyway, Shen Huaisher wants nothing to happen to Jing Chun, obviously, right? So he's like, whatever you're scheming, whatever you're plotting, please, please, please leave Jing Chun out of it. And of course, Lin Qingyu don't really care for Shen Huaisher. He never really did. But when he looks at his face in that moment and like the earnestness in it, he's like, okay, I'll make sure. Like he promises that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything to her. Okay. Um, so then we have once their little meeting is over, it's he's going to find Jiangbro, who is with the Imperial Preceptor because he just has exclusive access to this man that even the Emperor doesn't. So he finds them and everything. And on page 72, we have him explaining about, the separation of souls from their bodies. And, they're talking about Prince Xiao Li. And he's basically saying that he's not going, I don't know how much longer he'll actually live because the separation of the body and soul is against the heavens. And so eventually, like, he's going to die if that happens, if he doesn't get reconnected with his soul. And so Lin Qingyu is just like, okay, well, what about if, body and soul, or what if the soul is in the wrong body? Him automatically thinking about his boo and like, okay, so if the soul is in the wrong body, like, are they gonna die? Are they gonna live? Like, what's gonna happen with that? And my note from the first time I read it just says, see now, I was letting go of my theory since Xiaoli was 15 years old. It was said he was 15 or whatever. But now you're about to make me bring it back. Because I said from volume 2 that with him having the lost soul, with it saying that Lin Qingyu found him familiar, I had said even then that, okay, he thinks he looks familiar. He was also very stunned by his appearance and his breath was taken away. My theory was that, okay, this must be Jiang Dazhuang's true form right here. And his soul was just bouncing from bodies and apparently was in the modern world for whatever reason. But I let it go because of the age. Like, he's underage. And so I was like, so right here, you're making me bring this theory back. And the thing is, even though we all know, as some of us say, we know, but we don't know. And the reason I say we don't know is because I never like to get too comfortable with an author, period, but especially a Donmei author, because they could be trolling me or leading me on the entire freaking way, and then the end be different. So, like, at this point in the book, I'm like, no, I don't know. No, I'm not sure. But by this point, I was like, so, Yang Dao Zhuang is Xiao Li. Yes? No? Yes? Yes? Anyway, let's keep going because it could totally be the whole thing where he ends up in another body and it's not Xiao Li's, but Xiao Li gets healed miraculously somehow with all the efforts that Lin Qingyu is putting in. I'm just telling you guys my thought process, you know. And so I'm just like, what is it we could be? Because I don't want to believe one thing this whole time and then it ends up being something else. So I'm like making faces and everything. Also, I let me. Joyeon is also a sickly beauty. Oh, he's from after being forced to marry the evil star general. Can you just send me a picture and just put a picture in the somewhere in Discord so I can see what it looks like? Because I'm gonna see. um. So yeah. Anyway, 14 years just still worried about all of this, like I said. And Gufu Joe's like, don't worry about it. And he was like, easy for you to say. I lost you. And I was like, damn. Yeah. That was that grief peeking through again. It's like, you literally died on me, bruh. I grieved you. So, anyway, then we have Gufu Joe kisses him to distract him with his tongue. Which we have a picture for. Yee! 1 second. I'm gonna zoom it in for you guys. A boom. Look at that. Kissy kissy. It's a deep kiss. I gotta be honest, I personally do not like kissing with tongue. I even talked to my husband about it because he doesn't like tongue kissing as well. I was like, I personally don't get it. but I love to read it. I don't know why. Like, I think it's cool when I read it, but I do not want to do it myself. Nevertheless, they look great kissing each other with tongue and all of that stuff. Hello. I have my suspicions, right? I had the same thought. I have a theory that Young Bro will end up in that body somehow. Oh, that crossed my mind too. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And become emperor like IDK. It just feels like that. Don't mind me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There is something that the Imperial Preceptor says that caught my attention. Um, all right. Let me just something. Um, he said, I'll just, was it in this chapter you're saying? Because if so, I can just read through it. Oh, thank you. Zhao Yalan. Oh, he's pretty. Oh, he's so pretty. So now I just have to read it and then that would like bring the connection there. He's very pretty. This hair is everything. Mm, very, very pretty. So, he says, oh, you said no, not this chapter. Okay, okay, okay. Then we'll move forward to chapter 80. Okay. So, more kissy kissy. That's what my note says. I don't think he will become emperor. I think the other brother will, and the brother will give them property to live on happily ever after. Got it. So, okay, so you don't think he'll become emperor, but they'll live happily ever after. So, do you have any thoughts on where you think Gufujo will go to next? Or do you think somehow he survives this? Somehow he survives this. Um, man, if he survives that. So, yeah, I'm just curious. Or do you have any idea where you think he will go? Same. I like read about different kinks. Like I am open to reading any and all with one, two things I don't like. Yeah, because I think it's just interesting to see what other people like, or even if maybe the author themselves doesn't like it, but they've researched enough to write about it. But I like to read about different forms of intimacy between people because it's just interesting to see like what it is that gets them excited for something. And it's like I can get excited for them, like, oh, that's cool, but I don't want to do that. Like BDSM, which is kind of on the lower totem pole or whatever you say, for things that I like to read. Like I usually don't like to read things with that in it, but I have on occasion. And in the moment when I read it, I'm like, huh, I can see that. That's really hot. But no, we are not doing that. We are not doing that. Not at all. I think with the fourth volume being the last, right? He will go to the sun without the soul. Okay, so you think he'll go to that person, but just not be king. Okay, got it. Things will eventually fall into place then, setting up the other brother for emperor, etc. Got it. So you think that Xiao Jie is going to become the emperor, stay the emperor, but that Jiang Bro will go into Xiao Li and they'll live happily ever after. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Mm, exactly, Kuro-san. So, in chapter 80, more kissy kissy, still sleeping separately, 'cause I'm gonna strangle somebody about this. And then I have on page 77, where Gufujo admits that kissing him is not tiring at all and he really likes it. And Chingyu feels the same way. I was like, great. We know he's not too lazy for this. So, um, we move forward with the North King lying about Jing Chun's identity in a letter to the emperor. He's like, no, she's a woman. These are lies. And I'm going to find out who spread these lies. But no, he's really not because they already left. And I'm going to deal with them. And so what Qing Yu does is he goes and talks to the empress and has her work. basically to go to the emperor to arouse his suspicions, but the emperor's already on the same wavelength. They even share a cute little moment together, whatever. Um because they don't trust the North King's statement. And so the Imperial Preceptor ends up coming to the palace. And this is a rare occasion. But so far, every single prediction that he has given has been correct. So the Emperor's like, let him in. Let's see what he has to say. And of course, he's like, um, do you know whether or not my headaches will be cured? And I put a note here because Xu Junyuan says, my eyes are shrouded by floating clouds. How could I ever divine the fate of the son of the heavens? And of course, the emperor is a little disappointed by this because he always refuses to do so. And I said that, yeah, he is refusing to do so probably for his own sake. Because how many times have we heard about an emperor being unhappy with the information that was given to them, and so they punish that person to death? So, of course, he doesn't want to divine your fate. He probably knows your fate for real. But why would he tell you? Because the moment he tells you what your fate truly is, he's going to be the one in trouble. So, like, no, thank you. This is self preservation right here. Completely and totally is how I feel, Hmm. So, um, only way to survive, sir. Exactly. I'm not going to tell you anything because do you really want to know your fate? You'd be dead soon, I think. That's how I feel because it's like, dude, you're already getting worse and worse and worse. Where do you think your fate is going? So it's like, come on, you're not getting better. You can divine your own fate. Like, what do you think? At least that's how I feel. If I was the Imperial Preceptor, I would not say any of that out loud. But that is like without any divination powers or knowing what's gonna happen next, I'd just be like, sir, like, do you really need me to divine that for you? Do you really need me to tell you what's gonna happen next to you? Feel like we kind of know. Right, one foot in the grave. So, like, yeah, you're gonna be dead soon. Come on. So, there are so many genres of BDSM as well. Yeah, I think the really, really extreme ones, I'm kind of like, I don't like. I stopped reading a story that had it, and I was like, I don't have interest in this one. And I read another one that was like mild. It was okay, but in the tag it said mild BDSM, so you know, I'm like, this seems like foreshadowing. Wait, you notice what? Here in the South, I see signs pointing to the inversions of yin and yang. Strangely, an individual within whom the yang force is more prominent is destined to be. Oh yeah, so that's what we're gonna talk about. Yeah, so we just hadn't gotten there yet because I want to mention the other point. So then yes, when he actually comes to tell him what it is that he is trying to say, is a peculiar development, of course, with the inversions of yin and yang, and the person with whom yang force is more prominent is destined to be queen. And of course, when it comes to yin and yang, of course, it more commonly, yang is associated with men. So therefore, the implication is queen is going to be a man. And of course, they immediately think of Jingchun. And he's like, hey, we need to find out what Jingchun's real identity is in 3 days. If you fail, I'll have Noble Consort Chun do it instead. And the Empress's Jade Seal and conferral document will no longer be yours. Now, when I read that, I was like, I don't know. I don't think this has anything to do with Jingchun. When I read that, I immediately thought about Lin Qingyu. And I was like, oh, oh. That was my immediate thought. I didn't think anywhere else. Like, huh? No. So, Right. I immediately thought of Lin Yu. It was just like, no way. Don't judge kings according to fiction any more than you consider sex realistic in fiction in general. Right. Yeah. Very there's very few stories that do BDSM accurately. Ah, yeah, I honestly don't know about them at all. I just know I didn't like to read when I was reading. But yeah, I was like, hmm? Yeah. So then we move forward and we have this lady, Wu Ya, who worked in the palace or whatever at some point. Wu Ya and Xirong are meeting and they are talking because he wants to make sure that the story is all together. Um, Let me just make sure I flip to the page. Yeah, so after Wu Ya leaves, then it's just Xirong and Lin Qingyu. Oh, y'all just saying same. So, whew, we have these two speaking with each other about everything that's going on, right? Lin Qingyu and Xirong. And he, of course, is, Xiao Jie has gotten some military provisions. You know, he's a prince of Ning, makes sense historically. And I think Shiron wants to know like how he got all of this stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, you don't need to know, blah 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 blah." But then at some point, we get to a section on page 84 that I wanted to point out because it says, since ancient times, eunuchs gaining immense power had always led to catastrophic outcomes. Lin Qingyu felt that he should prepare an exit route for himself and Gu Fuzhou just in case before Xiao Cheng's fate ran its course. And I wanted to highlight this because going back to the previous conversation that Lin Qingyu and Xirong had, we had Xirong thinking that Lin Qingyu is probably up to no good. Whereas in this case, it's not that Lin Qingyu immediately assumes that things are going to go bad because it says just in case. And so he is preparing himself. He's going to, like, plan for the worst, basically, but hoping for the best. So he's putting things in line to make sure that he will be okay if Shirong turns out to be awful. Whereas I felt like the way it was worded for Shirong a few chapters ago, it was like, I don't trust Qingyu. He wants something else. And so already we know with that kind of mindset, then you are going to do something stupid. So we shall see. We shall see. Um, And then, of course, we move to the next scene and we find out that Gufujo has a small tongue because when they were kissing, Lin Chingu was like, something's not right. I was like, what? So, yes, apparently he has a small tongue. And we move forward from there. It is what it is. Gufujo was like, I just thought it was for eating. But okay. Apparently, my tongue is small. So eventually we get to the point where information is found out. Jingchuan, man, yes. So noble consort Chun gets thrown into the cold palace. Wu Ya helped with this testimony, not by telling any lies, but just stating vague things that happened, right? And even has the silk purple belt that Shan Huaishe had given Ling Qingyu if he wanted, him again, and played that whole thing out, right? So we also find out a little backstory on Jingchun. He was a monk with stupid parents who had gambling problems, and they sold him. They took him from the temple and eventually sold him into the palace and everything. And like I said, noble consort Chun took the fall for Xiao Cheng to keep him out of it so that he could stay crown prince, which of course the emperor was not trying to implicate the crown prince anyway, because he didn't want to have to choose another crown prince. So he was separating the two of them regardless. And this chapter ends with it saying that, doing bad things with someone else felt much better than doing them alone. And that was from Chingyu's point of view. So I want a partner in crime. I'm going to ask my husband if he wants to do bad things with me. I just don't know what those bad things would be. We got to figure it out. I'm going to become a menace. Yeah. Watch me. Your keys aren't working right? Not if they keep adding letters. Right, Chingy is analyzing his body like, dude, my tongue? Leave it alone. So, chapter 81, we have again Noble Consort Chun. She lost her title, and the crown prince, he was reprimanded. Chingu has this man is raising his baby goose with all the effort. All the effort. It's they're his babies. And Gufujo finds it cute, but he also is a little bit jealous. And he makes a joke about if his soul goes into another body, he might as well go into the goose. And I was like, sir, because of how Chingu responds, I was like, you cannot make jokes about your soul going into another body. Okay? Because as Chingu said, that would mean that you died again. Too soon, my guy. Too soon. No. But also foreshadowing. But he's not going to go into the goose. We know because that would be weird. So then we move forward and Huantong is coming into the room. Um and he steps on the goose scorpion, which is very unfortunate. All happened because of a lid that was not put on the thing. And I actually appreciate Chingyu in this chapter because he's a good and rational person. You see it. You know, I know a lot of times he has questioned his own morality, but even in a moment like this where Huantong stepped on his scorpion goo, he's like, it was me that left the lid off. So he doesn't get super duper upset with Huantong about it because he realizes that this was his fault. You know, but I love this section because what we see happen, and I just want to go to the specific pages. Um, what we see happen is when Gufujo gets home, Chingyu runs to him again, by the way. Um, but I love it because immediately Gufujo realizes that something is wrong. And he's like, okay, what's wrong? And it says that the concern on Gufujo's face erased Lin Chingyu's composure. So he was very reserved with Huan Tong, but as soon as his husband showed concern, he was like, the ghost scorpion died. Like he allowed himself to feel his emotions with Gufujo. And I love that so much because it shows that he knows, as my note says, that he can express himself with Gufujo instead of hiding those feelings. Like when he did in volume 2, when Gufujo was like, did he touch you? And it said he didn't, Ling Chingyu didn't even realize how petulant he was when he was like, he did my arm, So I was like, I'm glad that he knows that he can be that way with Gufujo. And then, Gufujo's trying to cheer him up. He's like, don't worry. I hope you think of something else. You don't even have to call me Long Gong. Don't be sad. And I'm going to show you guys this picture. But going to page 100 to validate my feelings on Chingyu. At the halfway point, it says, with no one else present, he didn't need to conceal his emotions. He could always be himself around Gufujo. So, really quickly, here's the funny picture. So many things because we had, well, let me go to Huantong first. Is like, and the scorpion's like, I've died. And then the other one's like, cute little scorpion, woohoo. And then here it's like, oh no, all the puffs of clouds or gas, I don't know what that is, to end the lines to express Chingyu's sadness, like, my scorpion died. It was stepped on. It's just so cute. So, yes, this goo is really, really adorable. And just a close up again on the face. My scorpion died. The little bow is cute. He's clearly leaning down a little bit because he's taller. Oh wait, you said bow, the little bow on the scorpion. Yeah. I hate that. This is why I don't like English. Bow, bow, read red. Because I thought you were talking about the bowing like of Gufujo's body. as he was like leaning forward a little bit. The bone. The fact that he runs to him for comfort. Right, man. Right. So then we move on to page 101. And I just think it's funny that to cheer him up, he's like, you want to, you know, rest in my abs? You want to play with my tongue? I was like, go sit down somewhere, please. So that's how that chapter ended. And it was very, very cute. So then moving to the second to last chapter for today, which, oh my gosh. Mm. I feel like we've been on this live long, but I know it's because I've gotten sidetracked several times. Anyway, chapter 82. All right. So Qingyu is at Wu Ya's place, and then the crown prince shows up, and he sees the Qingyu, and just thinking about how like he used to be tempted by him because he looks similar to Jing Chuan in a way, with the eyes and the mole and everything, and now he's just like, I don't know why I ever saw him like that. He's terrible. And I'm just like, you're just stupid. That's all. You didn't get his sweet side because you're a perv and because he just wasn't destined to be yours in the first place. So no one cares about how you feel. It's like, bro, calm down. And so we get a little bit of the backstory on Jing Chun, the crown prince, and all of that stuff. I'm not going to recount that. Not that it was boring. Well, it was boring to listen to it again after having read it the first time. So we get the backstory, but that all leads up to I think it's just like Xiao Cheng is reminiscing on some of those things really, really quickly as he thinks about why in the world he ever found Lin Qingyu attractive. But then after all of that, the only thing he wants to know is where in the world Shen Huaisha is. And Ling Qingyu basically taunts him. First off, he's like, I don't know where he is. Second of all, like he doesn't want anything to do with you. You've been awful to him. Why wouldn't he want you dead? Because you suck, kind of thing. Didn't he stab you? And you're a lecherous man, So he's just like giving it all to him. Like, sir, you are awful. And let me tell you about yourself while I'm at it. Okay. And I just thought it was fun, but he pissed that man off so much that he vomited blood, which is a great sign because this wasn't necessarily the vomit blood that we see sometimes in C dramas where it's because of a rise of emotion. Well, yes, it was because of a rise of emotion, but it's also a sign of his unwellness, of his physical unwellness. So we got the doubles right there, which is great because we need him to get more ill, which he does. It says as when he goes back to the palace, he fell ill and even slipped into a freaking coma. I was like, great, wonderful. This is what we want. Die. I mean, coma's not dead, but you're getting pretty darn close. So, and then we have the emperor. Um, he's tired of feeling the pain of his headaches and everything. So he even promotes Lin Qingyu to deputy head imperial physician. Good for you. You do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly what you need to do, sweetie, because he's going to help you get rid of those headaches, isn't he? And this brings forth another thing that I really want to talk about, which I had mentioned before in volume 2, I think, about Lin Qingyu's father, Lin Rushan. Because we've had a moment before where Lin Qingyu thinks about, like, how was I created from my nice and loving parents to be this kind of evil, want to poison everybody that pisses me off kind of thing. And we have a moment with father and son because of the medicine that he's prescribing. It's making the emperor sleep and sleep and sleep and everything. And he knows these ingredients and stuff. And he's like, Chingu, this medicine that you made for his majesty, the ingredients. And he was like, Emperor said he don't want to feel pain no more. That's all I'm doing. And he's like, you truly understand what you're doing, my son? Like, do you think they'll be okay with this, huh? If they find out what you're doing. And Chingu is just like, don't worry, I know exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to worry about this. And then his father is like, all right. I mean, you always been your own person, so just be careful. And so again, I say that even if his father doesn't necessarily always think on the same wavelength as Lin Chingyu when it comes to medicine and being so readily poison happy, um, you get this from somewhere. I think maybe deep down inside, your father also knows he has the capability to do this. He just hasn't been he's never been pushed to a point where he's had to, probably. Maybe. We don't know his father's history, but it's like your father sees you, and honestly, he doesn't even see anything wrong with you. He just wants you to be safe. And so he's like, "Are you sure? If people find out about this, are you going to be okay?" Okay, you're on your person. You do what you do. Just be careful, bro. My son, be careful. And so again, I love his dad, and I think well, he's not hard on himself anymore, but this is just all the more reason he shouldn't be hard on himself because your father knows exactly what you're doing, and he's cool with it as long as you stay safe. So, you know, um, he said the crown prince did not earn that. Right. I love how supportive his parents are. Right? They support him in doing it. Look, we all support you, Yu. That is what you need to realize. We all support you. Your readers, your husband, your parents, your brother if he knew. Huji. We all support you. So oh man. I love supportive parents. I really, really do. So moving forward, we have the Prince of Ning is basically ruling the country at this point. Xiao Jie is ruling the country at this point. And with Eunuch Xi wanting him to have another title, he's like, give him the title. Crown Prince, please. Chingke is like, three conditions. Number one, want the token for commander of Tianji Guards for Guhuzhou. Number two, Guhuzhou commands the Imperial Guards and the Iron Cavalry. And number three, the Empress Dowager will rule behind the curtain if Xiao Jie becomes the emperor. Period. And so Xi Rong, of course, is thinking these things like, oh my gosh, he's ambitious. Like, what's he want with all of this? I'm reluctant to give it to him. And in truth, he should not be reluctant to give Qingyu these things. I mean, yes, Qingyu wants these things if you act out of line. If Xiao Jie acts out of line, then he's got some things to help him. However, he doesn't want to use them. Like if you just be a good little eunuch and have your prince be a good little throne ruler, but have the ruler behind the curtain, then nothing will ever happen to you guys. Ever. Ever. So and then at the end of that chapter, Chingyu advises him not to go to war with the North Kingdom because that's just stupid. Like, why would we do that? Don't do that. Um, it would be so funny if it's if his mom if it's his mom who is the I could do evil if I needed to type. It would. I would love that so much actually, especially since she's not the one that's the doctor. My brain just auto registered Iron Cavalry as embroidered. And, as embroidered cavalry, and my brain had to backtrack to correct itself, like Guman Gufu Joe. Oh my gosh. Right decision to let the Empress continue ruling. Absolutely. It would be so funny if someone held up their deal without paranoia and F ups. I agree wholeheartedly. Last chapter. Um, Chapter 83. Shirong agreed to the conditions. It didn't make him wait long because he's smart, at least for the moment. So, then we have a little moment between Gufujo and Chingyu. I feel like they're just kind of teasing each other lovingly about well, Chingyu is teasing him about him being a little lazy pants, which is adorable. It's fine. And then Gufujo tells Chingyu to write a pledge that if he helps him with his administrative duties that he's asking him to help with or whatever, not administrative, but anyway, then Chingyu has to spend the whole day with him. A whole freaking day. It doesn't say whether he wrote that pledge or not. I think the scene just kind of ends. But that's okay. So then we get to the scene where Chingyu and Gufujo and Marquess of Nanan are having a discussion, and there's something they want him to do. But Qirong, yes, I know, Qirong. I think NFS said something about that a while ago, and I sent the recording how to pronounce it. See, I can't say she wrong because that's wrong. But she wrong. She wrong. I know you guys. I know you guys. Um, but in the moment, of course, the Marquess of Nanan acknowledges Gufujo or whatever. But then he's like, don't you see my wife, Marquess? Why didn't you greet him? He was like, hold up now. You're not gonna disrespect my I know, right? The pun. I was like, sir, you better get okay. I love it. I love a man who stands up for his wife. Absolutely amazing. Like, hold up now. I know you see him standing right here. Greet him. So, they get down to business. And basically, what the Marquess of Nana needs to do is he needs to go ahead and get with the Imperial, whatever he was, not the Imperial Preceptor, the Prime Minister. There we go. Go ahead and write a memorial to strip the Crown Prince of his Crown Princedom. Okay, so we can give it to Xiao Jie. And of course, the Marquess of Nanan was like, oh, I would appear fickle. And he's like, dude, if you want to go with that route, you already appeared fickle the moment you suggested that he be given a title at all. So, like, you might as well go the rest of the way and just think about it. Since you've done that, you already appear to be on his boat. Do you want to get off that boat when he becomes the emperor? Be smart. Think about your son, that baby who's not even a year old yet. Come on. Marquess, don't be stupid. So, I love that whole scene. And yeah, then I have a note on this page, and it's my note is covering it. Oh, so yeah, when they get to this point, they bring the memorial. Qingyu wakes up the emperor, and then he's like, "Hey, emperor, I've got a little something for you. Are you awake?" And he's like, "Where is the imperial physician?" He's like, "I'm here, your majesty. I just need you to do a little something for me. Can you do that for me?" And the emperor's like, "Uh-huh, uh-huh." And he's like, how obedient." I ain't gonna lie. I just found that whole thing like really hot. It was really I don't know. Him telling the emperor like how obedient. I was just like that was very nice. So then I thought it was funny just to know exactly what I was hearing. Wait, love snarky showing off my wife John. Protag villaining is hot. It is. I love a good villain. And the crazy thing is, I still don't see him as a villain. Everyone else would slash does, I guess, but I see him as protecting himself and his baby. Like he wouldn't be doing half these things if certain things never happened. So, ooh, I forgot to show these images at the beginning. Okay, I'll go back to that. Um, so anyway, this whole time I'm like, yeah, bro, the Empress is there. And so I wrote a note and I was like, honestly, I bet the Empress is cool with this because the Emperor is cruel and cold hearted toward her son, which she clearly loves. So then I keep reading and it says, um, um, crap, where is it? Yeah, don't blame me for this, Your Majesty. Blame yourself. If you'd shown Liar the slightest affection, I wouldn't have taken such measures. You have so many princes and princesses. All I have is Liar. Blah 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 blah. And I was like, huh, see? Yeah. Badoom. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this one. They're gonna get all of that taken care of. And yeah, that's the end of the first 10 chapters. Yes. Yeah, she totally loves her son. Like, I just think even if you had disdain for your son, like clearly the Empress Dowager loves him. So why is it that you are forcing her to not see him just because you don't want to see him? Like that's not fair. Then don't see your son, but let her see Xiao Li. Let her see her Liar. Okay? Anyway, but yes, Qingyu and that thing is hot. Where I'm going to find hot evil doctor to give me proper pain meds. So I meant to go back to this because not for that, for this. For anyone who does not have the book. Look at him. We also have not gotten to this scene, whatever it is, but it's cute. So anyway, the next chapters are going to be out tomorrow, obviously. You know, unless you guys force me to release them early, like y'all did with the last ones. And I think we will hold on because there's some things I want to tell you guys. I need to pull up my calendar. So our next live session is actually going to have to be on a Friday because this month is very busy for me and I can't do it on a Saturday. But I did tell my boss at my job that I'm not working on Fridays anymore. I didn't ask, I told her. So yeah, there's that. Except for like classes that I moderate, which I do have a class to moderate at 4:45 p.m. So next Friday on July 17th, it's going to be at 10:30 a.m. again. We are going to meet once more for the discussion of chapters 84 through 96. It's a lot of chapters to get through. That's over 10 chapters. So yeah, 84 through 96. Those will be released soon. Um, oh shoot, I didn't switch my camera back. Sorry. My bad. Yes, the thing turned into liar. I started to comment on that. I'm glad you like my hold on. Let me just come back really quickly. Okay. That's enough of that. I'm not sure about a career and all of that. Forcing meow. You mean you could release them now so I could listen to Salted Fish and not my mother? Yeah, I've recorded the entire book and they're all like all of the recordings are up. They were up and scheduled before the first chapters even came out. And like there are some scheduled for tomorrow and then the last chapters, I think 12 or 13 chapters scheduled for the following Sunday. I just did not release the entire book because I wanted everyone to like have the set that we would talk about. Because it was already hard for me reading the entire thing and then like having to go back and listen to make sure like my brain is in that time frame without going to later chapters. But yeah, I do have the chapters. A Friday stream. Yes. Wait, what again? Friday. Friday. And I mean fry with a Y because fries sound good. No, I mean fry with an I. So the other thing I wanted to like talk to you guys about, um, also I'm going to like make that some shortly after we get off the live and then put it in Discord, but also upload it to Patreon for it, all of that jazz on YouTube, blah 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 blah. So, heck, oh, is that a bad day for you? I'm assuming Friday the 17th. Yes. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I would have done it on Saturday, but that Saturday I have to moderate starting at 11:45. And so, considering that, I was like, well, I don't want us to have an early morning, for me, early morning live session or make anyone else get up early in the morning. So I was like, man, because if we did like a live session, I don't know, at like 9 a.m., it would have to stop at 2.5 hours, but we have more chapters to read. So I was like, yeah, that's just not a safe bet at all. So yeah, it's okay though. We still love you. He said, no, you have an evening shift which ends whatever time it is for you now. Oh, that's so sucky. I'm sorry, you guys. But I can't do it. So on Saturday. So, but that's fine. We'll have some of you guys here. Um, we could, I mean, if you guys want, you just let me know. We could split up the live sessions and maybe talk about, because it's a lot of chapters. We could talk about, I don't know, six of them on Friday and then the other six early Saturday morning. I think I could do that. But anyway, you have Fridays 11 to 3. Oh, I see. But yeah, so in other news, I have been doing a lot of soul searching or thinking and pondering and stressing and anxietying like I do best. And because of some conversations that I've had with myself, with my therapist, and reflections over like the past week and a half to 2 weeks, I think, I have made a decision um, to not do what I originally intended for this channel, which was to switch things over and do art. So you'd be down for splitting the streams. Okay, cool. I'll think on that more deeply. They're still going to start at the same time. Well, the one on Saturday would start earlier, but the Friday one would still start at the same time. Um, but what was I about to say? Oh, yes. So I'm not going to be switching to doing art stuff on this channel. I just thought about it. And, sometimes we make decisions that we think are based in wisdom or based in like being smart or economical and all of those things. But when we really take the time, it's a decision that's still being made out of fear. And so there was a huge part of me that didn't want to start over because I'm like, oh my gosh, then I'll lose. Well, yeah, I'd be starting over, from the very, very beginning because um, I would have to make a new channel. Then I would have to start uploading art and stuff there and build again like I built from here. But at the end of the day, I think that just from my observations and like I said, conversations, I think I would be doing this channel a disservice by switching things over instead of just letting it be what it be regardless of if I upload more Danmei content, even though I won't be reading after we finish this in QJJ, um, or if I never upload anything again. I just think I should let it be what it is here. So I actually created a backup Mari-chan channel just in case anything ever happened. It was sitting there, and so I just decided to go ahead and make that one my art channel. And I've already, other than my YouTube shorts, because it was way too many, and I've already put them up there, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I really don't feel like deleting and re-uploading these things. I have made myself an art channel on YouTube. So I'm just putting it in the chat. If anyone wants to follow, if you don't want to follow, that's totally fine. But it's just going to be a channel where I do all of my art stuff from here on out, whether I am experimenting and trying something new. Probably won't be doing tutorials. I did that one time just because someone wanted the tutorial and I felt like I could do it. But it's really just about like my art journey and experimenting and having fun with art in many different ways. So, yeah, I just felt like it was a good decision for me to not, um, I don't want to use the word taint because that's not the word. I didn't want to pollute this channel with something that it was never about in the first place. Um, I just was so scared, you know, starting over. Um, and I think we were talking about it in Discord yesterday. I have really bad abandonment issues. And so like already being concerned about like people just dropping off of this channel. I was like, no one's gonna join me on the other side. Because I also think of worst case scenarios and all of that would, and I'm so hard on myself, which my therapist reminds me every single time. And she tells me to provide myself with grace and all of those things. And she was like, okay, if it was me and I did this or I was having this struggle, would you be mad at me or would you say it was my fault? And I'm like, of course not. And she's like, so anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that I am doing some thinking as well about what I would do with the this channel once we finish QJJ. I know will still have salted fish in October on Patreon. And nothing is set in stone, but I have thought about I know I need like a break first, a break of focusing solely on that other channel, although I'll still like comment when people comment on my YouTube and Patreon and everything. But I need that time where I'm not reading Danmei, recording Danmei, all of that stuff, and focusing on spending more time with my art and getting more involved in that to see how it feels, to see if I truly want to maybe do like book reviews or something on this channel. So, not reading, recording the books, but giving a review after I've read the whole series or just one of the books. Um, or if that's something that my brain is still trying to find a way to stay connected here so I don't lose people, which is very hard to tell, which is why I said I think I need time, to really figure that out. So I'm kind of just rambling and I know that there are comments. Hold on. Subscribed. Well, thank you guys. Um Thank you so much, Cookie and Meg. I appreciate it. So all of the old videos that were on this channel, they're going to be coming up just like because I ripped them off of this channel and uploaded them onto that one. So there won't be any new stuff just yet. I think it'll come like the week after next. Actually, no, I take that back. There will be new things because I'm gonna like have morning art sessions, I think. And then I'll just upload whatever it is that I did. But you think that's a good strategy because two different things when you go into two different moods. Yeah. And like to me, it would be different if I started this channel with art and Danmei as like a mixed thing already, but I didn't. It wasn't the art Danmei channel where, and I think I did it like one time. We talked about it, where I did a video about gumang and tied it into my own personal life as well, and then was painting along. Like if that was something that I did from the very beginning, then maybe it would be easier to be like, okay, so keeping the art, but not gonna do like the Danmei. But I didn't. So I'm gonna be smart about it and let people come to this channel for what they came for, which is the Danme. So, um, and even with the book reviews, with that though, I'm not sure I would keep it just to Danme. Like if I read something that's not Danme, I think I would probably still do a book review on it. Like Twin Jades of Jiangdong. That's not Danmei, even though it was advertised as Danmei, and even though there's a Danmei version out there, or even some of these other books that I bought and put in the Just Books section, I might still like upload those for reviews, but we shall see. So anyway, and yeah, anything social media is scary decisions. Yeah, yeah, especially when you've already built a following. It's scary. It's very scary. Um, sounds good. Love that you were able to figure that out for yourself. Yeah, it just takes some time. I'd like to think that overall I have a good head on my shoulders, but I also know the kind of person I am when it comes to anxieties and worries and my fears that I have developed, from my upbringing. So sometimes the wisdom is just a little bit delayed. Like, just give me a couple of days, give me a couple of weeks or something like that, and then I'll be fine. Um, but I think actually, seeing it, because it was being talked about once in Discord, because Gay Watch has another channel, I guess just for their live streams or something like that. But seeing like that conversation unfold helped solidify that for me. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna do this then. Like it would just be smarter to do it that way. Um, yeah, yeah. Some of us need others to put it in perspective. Absolutely. We never treat others like we do ourselves. Yeah. So hard on ourselves, right? Mari, I understand the struggle. There we go. Yes. Give it time to breathe. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was very happy. Like when I actually finished volume 3, I was like, whew, like other than listening to it and taking notes for these discussions, I now have more time. Like that time that I would normally take 2 hours or whatever to read, I can paint or I can draw or do literally anything creative. I can read some of my art books or something like that. The same amount of time and dedication I put into Don May, I need to take that to put into my art. So, especially since I'm still kind of in a learning phase with watercolor, and now I'm adding in charcoal and ink pens and stuff like that. It's like I haven't mastered any of these things and I'm sitting here reading all the time. Kind of makes it difficult to grow as an artist. So, um yeah, I'm glad I found a good way for it as well. Nuh-uh, we came for your beautiful reading, which my brain likes. I'm really glad that you guys enjoy my reading. Um, and very thankful you decided to finish the series. Yeah, I had to do some thinking about that, but not very much because I was like, I'm not gonna stop in the middle of this series. Like the audacity. That would be so sucky. So, yeah. I'm gonna finish QJJ, gonna finish Salted Fish. Which I think someone said that volume 4 is just extras of Salted Fish, so that's pretty cool. So if I wanted to, I guess I could end with volume 3 because the extras are extras, but no, we're not doing that. I'm gonna read them with you guys. Mm, that's all of us though. It's human to spiral sometimes and then come to a nice decision. Whether it comes from trauma or future anxieties. Absolutely. Mm. Well, as for some of us, there are some people who they do a lot better with those kinds of things. Or I would say there are some people in this world who have a great amount of faith and trust. And yes, it could be like spiritual in a god. Um, but I know, like I know some people who just like live life without or I won't say without fear, with very minimal fear and anxiety. And they just like trust that things will work out. And maybe there's a tiny bit of fear, but there's no like not really any spiraling or anything like that. And I'm just like, how? Like my husband, to be honestly, dude is my rock because there are lots of times where I'm the one spiraling and he's like, no, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's for our good. So we're good. You know, I admire people like that that don't have the anxiety and the spirals. I mean, of course, they may have like a moment when they have those in life. We're not going to go all our lives without those moments. But I think those kinds of people are cool. Like, can I have a dose of whatever you're having? Whatever drug Lin Chingu gave to you, can I have it as well? So, um, I think those were really all of my announcements. I will take a moment today after I make the live session stuff for next Friday and Saturday. I will go ahead and release tomorrow's chapters today. And yeah, because that'll still give you the same amount of time to read them since we're meeting a day early. So I'll release them a day early. I'm sure you're all happy about that. Don't don't send me death threats to release them. Don't antagonize me. A very anxious person. Same. My anxiety has gotten a lot better though. Like there was one point in therapy, like 2.5, 3 years ago, where my therapist was like, I'm not going to diagnose you, but I believe you may have generalized anxiety disorder. And I can say now, I don't think, just because of all of the work and effort I've put in, I don't think I have it anymore. But I do think I still have moments. And I feel like this is kind of like a big thing, though, like the changes that have been happening recently. They're big things. I used to have anxiety over very small things and big things, but I feel like I have the appropriate amount of rational human anxiety over the recent changes. But yeah, I used to be very, very, very anxious about everything. I'm just glad I'm in a better place because it's tiring being so anxious. Like the anxiety and stuff that I feel now is tiring. I'm like, I don't want to be anxious. I don't want my brain to constantly be thinking about something or like repeating it in my mind over and over and over and over and over again. I just want it to be gone. So, yeah. He said, hey. Still learning to deal with my anxieties. Getting better slowly. Huh? Yeah, it just takes time. It takes time and therapy and putting in effort to you know, overcome it. Some methods help others, more than others. It's a weird journey, you know. It takes a long time because I didn't realize, like, even I mean, clearly before my therapist, I had generalized anxiety disorder, like for probably the majority of my life. So it's taken, like 30 years before I've gotten to a much much better place. Um it depends on how you sleep and eat. Speaking of eating, I have some stromboli in the refrigerator. I'm very excited about it. I'm also thinking about making some cookies because I made my own cashew butter. So I'm gonna make some cookies. But I need to go to Publix so I can get me some chocolate morsels. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a very random thing, also. You said there's normal amounts of anxiety. Yes. Just joking. Definitely normal amounts of anxiety. And then there's like the extreme anxiety. It's wild to think some people just don't have to deal with anxiety about literally anything, right? I'm like, you're not anxious about this? Why? You should happy. No, I'm kidding. It's like, you should be anxious. What are you saying? Also, I got a message. Let me make sure it's not important. Just wanted to tell you that I love you. Oh, it's my father. I will respond to that later. I'm glad he still loves me. It's very good to know. You said, wow, all that sounds fun and tempting. Yeah, the pizza place we went to last night, I ate the appetizer bruschetta there and brought the stromboli home. So I'm gonna heat that up and eat it today. Um, and make cookies. Mari wants cookies, so Mari's gonna get them, but Mari's gonna make them. I also have bread that I made, some more bread, and I need to eat that so I can make more bread. I'm gonna try to make sandwich bread for the first time sometime next week. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very, very excited about it. You miss cooking and baking. You've been so tired. Throwing energy at you. Did it work? Your mom made potato and mutton curry for dinner. Ooh, you'll just eat some potatoes? Ugh, curry sounds really good. Potato and mutton curry sounds really good. Can I come over? More bread is good, right? More bread. Um, so anyway, right now I have about 30 pages left in volume 4 of Eric Linnaeus. I am reading an MHA fanfic that I am mm, what am I? Slightly over halfway done, I think. And am I reading anything else? I was reading another MHA fanfic as well, but I kind of fell off because I was listening to a podfic of it and they only read 54 out of the 58 chapters that are released, but also there are only 58 chapters out of 61 total, and so I kind of just fell off of it. So yeah, I'm reading 3 things right now. Um and Cookielicious and I, not next week, but the week after, we're going to be reading Twin Jades of Jiangdong together by Feitian Yeshang next week. So basically, like the end of July, I think. If anyone wants to join us in reading them on our own time and just like chatting and stuff about it. So, yay, everyone head over to Cookie's Place. Hold on, I just got another message. Uh, soon. Oh, sounds like my cue. So, anyway, the energy might help me draw. Maybe not cook something. Oh, you had rice for dinner. I love rice. Oh, you love your rice. Nice. Rice is good. Rice has so many different ways it can taste. So, I like rice. But anyway, you guys, I think that is all. Um, yeah. I appreciate your love and support on this channel. Thank you to anyone who has subscribed slash will subscribe for anyone who watches this later to my art channel. I greatly appreciate it. I love each and every single one of you. And thank you for helping me through my anxieties, even if you didn't know you were helping me through my anxieties. So, um, unless, oh, so, unless anyone like has any questions or anything you want to say, because I did say a lot of things, I guess you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, we'll go bye bye. But yeah, I greatly appreciate you guys, especially those of you who are in the Discord community, because that's where we really be living and doing lots of stuff. So yeah, this is really good. Which again is crazy because I don't like to eat caramel just like by itself. But the drink, very good. Bye bye, everyone. Take care. Hope rest of your day goes smoothly. Yes. I hope the rest of everyone else's day goes very smoothly. And well, I Neiman. So bye. And Gufu Joe says bye too. Ling Ching Yu says bye as well. See you soon, Mari. Would love to read Twin Jade with you guys. Yeah, we'll let you know when we get started. Cookie Licious and I just gotta pick a day. But love you guys. Bye.